Lots to talk about this morning, this afternoon, this evening. Tons! 3 videos waking up, just tugging at my responsicles, going, come on Dave, talk about stuff. I did a video where I just said, hi Lee, how you doing? Sent the thing on his Facebook, he did a video, someone else did a video. I'll be honest with you, I don't know who I'm going to do this as a video response to. It doesn't matter. Dorian did one, Vigadeath. Lee's done one, Damn You Hussies. Drew's done one, drewsiferxxx. I guess I'm going to list all of these people in the underbar down here, and they've all had their little 2penneth, and I must admit that for all of his bluster and gusto, and I did make a small jape about the fact that Lee did his video and was rather self-confident in it. But again, Lee has done a video and all of a sudden they're coming out the woodwork to do response videos, and he's lived up to his word that he said he was going to make people talk, and he has. All power to you. Just so I could be extra specially prepared, I made notes. I do these video responses and I'm always very conscious that when I've finished and I watch it back, I always think, oh, I wish I'd said that, or I wish I'd... So I've watched all 3 videos and written down bits from the 3 videos that I just think are salient points. And even if I just read them out one by one and we do a sort of kind of semi-disjointed one, knowing my rambles, it'll all mould glorious into one great big bit of stuff that you can ignore. Apathy, which is generally the name of the current topic, isn't it? Because it's a very apathetic. It's very moany as well. It's not just apathetic, but it's the apathy has breached over into just complaining, which I think is good in the long run, because without complaining, without questioning ourselves, it's like we've sat down and said, okay, fine, this sort of where we are is fine, and you know, doesn't need to get any better, we'll just keep plugging on the way that we are, which is rubbish, because if you need something to be a success, if you need something to just be more than it is, you have to complain about it, you have to strive for more, which is, I guess, kind of the stage that we've come to. Should we call them reviews? Call it what I like. Doesn't matter. We know who does what. We know who does what style. I think the only time what you title it as is ever really going to make a difference is for people that are new into the community. If you were new to the TFC and you didn't like sensible, if funny was your thing, then you'd go and look for certain people, and you'd want possibly something in the title to say that it's funny, or in the tags, or in the description box or something like that. What we call it doesn't really make an awful lot of difference, because the content won't be affected by the title. What will be affected by the title is the people that search you for what you do. If you want to call it a spotlight, or a review, whatever you want to title it as, I don't think it makes a huge amount of difference. As long as you bring across a bit of you and a bit of what you want. And I think what's also quite important is that I think people have become a little pigeonholed in the kind of thing that they do. I've done stupid lunatic reviews, I've done pissed up reviews where I swear a lot, I've done sensible vlogs and kind of touchy-feely vlogs about me and what's going on and stuff like that, and I wouldn't want to think that I was known for doing one certain type of thing because it would sort of hinder me from having to go at doing the others. So just do what you feel, call it what you like. You're only going to be judged on the content, not the title. Categories, and what kind of reviewer are you? The category that people are currently is, I don't know, that again it's very segmented. I'm going to talk about Pure. I like Pure's reviews. I'm sorry, I do. Because I am a plastic crack addict, because I love the toys, he gets the toys first, and it's as simple as that. He gets the toys first, he talks about them, he shows us what it looks like in one mode, what it looks like in the next, how to get from one to the other. If there's anything that's particularly clever in the transformation, he will show you that as well. And he'll say, thanks for watching, and he'll turn the camera off. And he knows his place within the community. And I'll be honest, Pior actually does reviews. Pior actually reviews the toy, probably before anybody else, because if it's a new toy, it's not a review, it's a demonstration, but the point is out of all the people that do reviews on YouTube, he's probably the one that actually does a review of it, because he does it first, and people want to see how it works and what it's made of, and if it's good or bad, or, you know. And I must admit, from a personal perspective, once I see him review something, then that's a little bit of mouth-watering, knowing that it's on its way and it won't be long before it's starting to hit the shops and I can not spend any of my JSA on it. But realistically, in the long term, you've got your pre-release guys that do a figure early, you've got your info guys that do your background and stuff like that, and you've got character guys that are just a very colourful character as a person. It just so happens that they talk about toys. They're probably my favourite ones. I think they're probably everyone's favourite one, but it depends what you want out of the deal, doesn't it? The other ones that I really like are the ones that just love what they do. I don't think you have to be a particularly good reviewer for your reviews to be quite infectious if you really enjoy what you do and talking about the toy, especially if you're semi-knowledgeable but open to learning. Some people go into the toy in such great detail that it's just like, because it doesn't offer you any chance to learn anything for yourself or you know, have a rebuttal or anything like that. It's just like, this is it and that's the facts and closed, case closed. And I'm not keen on that, but new toy reviews are cool and I like Pew. Format's something that's come up quite a lot at the moment. I think the format, there are only going to be two formats. There's going to be the one that I've tried recently, which is just me in a dark room with two nice powerful lights talking about a toy to the camera, or the ones that I do normally, or the shop ones or whatever, where I just have the camera and a tripod and sit it on a desk and have the toy with my hands. And I think they've both got attributes to them. If I really want to show off what a toy's about, then I'll do the boring hands-only one, and if I want to sort of enjoy what I'm doing, if I want to enjoy the process a little bit more, then I will do a me and the toy thing. You don't get to see the toy as well, but if I'm going to do it, I like having a waffle, I like having a meander through the toy conversationally as well as visually, and I can't really do that with my face sitting on the camera. I think it loses a bit. It's not very personal. I think out of those two, that you've got to have one or the other. You can't really have a better one. I think the only other one that's slightly different would be Vangelis and his very clever montages on how to transform the toy. Other people could probably do that, but again, he puts so much time and effort into his stuff. It would probably take a little bit of the fun out of it for me, unless you were really into your video editing and stuff like that and enjoyed the process of editing the video as much as the idea and thought process and sort of the drama of making it. Why is there so much rubbish? Why is there so much rubbish? There's tons and tons and tons of dross. And I must admit, I think I'm partly part of that. I don't know. I would love to be really big on YouTube. I'd love to be successful. I've never really been happy with just sitting back and being one of the crowd. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it properly and be good at it. But I don't think it's sort of turning out that way, which has been a bit of a shot in the eye. I'm normally fairly good at the stuff that I try, and this is me just being sanctimonious git. But there's lots of dross on YouTube because YouTube is free. Anyone can try it. Everybody has a video camera because everybody has a mobile phone. So anyone with an iPhone 4 or one of the new HTCs or anything like that can make a video worthy of putting up on YouTube and can edit it in Windows Movie Maker, which comes with most PCs. Everyone has the ability to do it, so everyone's going to give it a go. The other reason why I think there's so much crap is, in fact, if you think about it, the crap's sort of thinned out an awful lot lately, because it's only the people that are really die-hard fans that are still doing it now, because we're between films. You know full well, as soon as Dark of the Moon comes out, the sheer amount of videos that are coming out is just going to start stacking up. And that's very little to do with people doing reviews going, this is what the toy looks like, but it's going to be an awful lot to do with kids having friends who have got kids who've got friends who've got YouTube accounts, who've got other friends who've also got YouTube accounts, just going, ah, I got one of these. That's why we got so much dross. But you have to have it. If you were to moderate the quality of what went up on YouTube, you wouldn't have anything to watch. Plus, what is tripe to one man is a godsend to another. There are people who are technically more successful than me on YouTube when it comes to numbers and stuff like that, that I just can't watch. There are some people that are just such sycophantic douchebags. I can't bear it. It just makes me want to beat them with a stick. But there are other people that really, really like their stuff. That's fine. That's the way of the world. You can't love everything all the time, and it does take all sorts. And if there was only my style of, if there was only people that I liked on YouTube, then I'd probably get bored of the people that I liked because they wouldn't offer any variety. You have to have a little bit of everything. Overt positivity. That's something that Lee brought up in his, because everybody is always so, oh, got this and it's brilliant, and people want their money's worth. I think it would be the exception rather than the rule that someone were to buy a toy that they'd spent their good hard-earned money on, take it home and slag it off. However you come across your money to go and buy that figure, you have somehow earned it, ended up with it, had a reward of it, whatever, but you've done a process that has probably led you to have the money for that toy and then to take it home and just slate it. It isn't human nature, it's just, people won't do it. That's why there's so much glowing crap on YouTube. I'm not adverse to pointing out the bad bits, but I don't know. See, I'm a bit different because of the shop connection, that I've got an awful lot of stuff lately because it was new and because it's quite a buzz just opening that plastic box and transforming it for the first time. And I must admit, amongst those, there are one or two that I'm kind of glad that I got because they fill up space on the collection, but at the same time, I haven't played them very much and they may not be a very good toy. But I'm not, if there's something that's specifically rubbish, I'm not afraid to point out that something is specifically rubbish, but I enjoy, if something is good, it feels good to revel in it. Again, that's another piece of human nature. Yes, if something is bad, or if you didn't like it, then it would be good to have an opportunity to sit down and have a good old bitch about it. But at the same time, if you wanted the toy bad enough to actually fork out your 10, 15, however much pounds for it, and then found out that it was disappointing, A, you probably didn't do your research very well, and B, I think there's a little part of everyone that wouldn't want to admit to themselves, I've made a mistake here. Biographies? How can I put this best? A little bit of BG, not enough to do you any harm. That's where it's at. Small amount of BG, and then move on to the toy. Frankly, that's what TF Wiki's there for. I found a couple of websites recently that people have pointed me towards that are very good at giving you the background that you're looking for with regards to a toy, etc. I personally don't feel the need to be walked through a 20-minute video on who they are and where they came from. However, I'm sure there lots of people are. And that just blatantly reverts back to my initial statement earlier that said different folks, different strokes, and just if that's what you like, then you're going to find YouTubers that do that sort of stuff, and if that's not what you like, don't diss other people for doing stuff that you're not really into, just don't watch it. And frankly, if you did say to someone, oh that was crap, you're boring and too long, you've just turned into a troll. Is that what you want? Because that's what'll happen. There is lots of other stuff that really does my head in about YouTube. It's things like people who apologise for not being on YouTube for a little while. We don't care. If you're one of the people that apologises for not being on YouTube for a while, just think about this. Absence makes the heart grow fonder, and if there are people that love your channel to such an extent that they are going to be absolutely heartbroken if you don't do a video for 3 or 4 weeks, they're only going to want you all the more when you come back. Just stop doing it, it's annoying. The other thing that annoys me at the moment a little is, if you like Dark of the Moon toys, then watch reviews about Dark of the Moon toys. If you don't like Dark of the Moon toys, if you don't like Revenge of the Fallen, if you don't like Energon or Armada, if you love G1 or hate G1, just give everyone their little space to be part of that community. If you don't like it, that's fine. But if you just sit there and slate it profusely because it's not your cup of tea, then you've joined in Trollland. One of the joys of YouTube is that you can talk about your little corner of the universe, and if someone slates you, there's a magic block button, which means you don't have to tolerate that person anymore. There's an awful lot of... We got over G1ers. There was a problem, the G1ers were being picked on, and they were being picked on a little bit. I probably picked on them slightly as well. But there you go. Because the G1ers were just saying it's not as good as G1, it's not as good as G1, and it's like they had a generic response to anything new. And I must admit that the movie toys, while they're not particularly popular, and that has to be based in some kind of fact, which I get, and I'm probably not the best person to talk about this because I am quite an advocate of the movie toys. This year's movie toys aren't so good, but I still like them. But again, you have to pick and choose what you watch, and it all comes down to the dross thing. If you think people talking about Dark of the Moon stolen Chinese toys is dross, then don't watch it. If you find yourself going, oh, not another one of these, click to the next one. I mean, I'm too nice anyway. Even if I click to the next one, I'll still click like. I tend to always click a like or a dislike. It's very rare that I'll not rate a video in some way. Because, I mean, on YouTube, even if you rate negatively, if you put a thumbs down, that still counts as a mark against you. It doesn't matter whether you thumb up or thumb down on YouTube. YouTube sees them both as the same thing. It's just a comment against your name. So if you had 50,000 people thumb you down for some horribly racist video, and 2 people thumb it up, you'd still get on the most commented stuff at the end of the day. It may seem crazy, but that's just the way it is. What are we going to do about it? I think we should just do this. I think it was my last 5 Awesome Transformers Guys video, which was about third parties and stuff like that, and I said about it that the most powerful third party in the TFC is the TFC. And you have to remember that the YouTube community is such a massive part of that now. It's probably the driving force of that now because of the accessibility and the lack of... I mean, everyone's got an internet connection just to check your bank statement or see what's on telly that night. And who doesn't have an email account these days? So having a YouTube account is just a byproduct of current social function. That just keep doing it. Keep making your contribution. And if it's a massive contribution, all power to you. And if it's not such a big contribution, then keep trying it. If you're enjoying it, or it's something that you want to be good at or better at, then keep on plugging. If you try it and it doesn't work, then what have you got to lose? You can take your videos down and go away. If you get trolls, ignore them. If you are a troll, well, some of the trolls are funny and some of them aren't, and do what you feel is necessary. The point is, you've got to keep going. Just got to keep trying. I'm quite looking forward to seeing what comes out of this little discussion though, because I'm sure between some of the more prevalent members of the little chat community, we might be able to come up with an idea with something new and implement that and see how it goes. I'm always up for a project.